transparency and honesty is the most beautiful, amazing thing. And the more you can be transparent and honest with each other, the more you will flourish. So apparently 50% of marriages end up in divorce. I don't know about you, but that is actually a very, very sad number to hear, in my opinion. But here's the more important thing. I look at that number and I don't just think that's sad. I look at that number and I go, there is no way that is such a high number and nothing can be done about it. And there's no way that that is such a high number. All of that 50%, all those people really had no other choice but to divorce. I reckon that some of those couples that did end up divorcing didn't necessarily need to divorce. They could have worked it out if they wanted to, and they could have, but they likely made the wrong choice. Don't get me wrong, I'm sure some of them made the right choice. If people did something like cheat on their partner and the partner can't forgive them, you got a divorce. There's nothing you can do about that. Anyway, so I'm sure some of those divorces, it's all cool and it's probably the better choice. But some of them likely could have made a better choice, but they just didn't have the tools or didn't want to give the energy or time to acquire the tools and the skills to become better. So here is some of my sort of beliefs about relationships, and that's coming from a man who has been through a divorce, and I was with that particular partner for a very long time before we had divorced. First things first, because I don't really want to sugarcoat things. In my opinion, a relationship will be the strongest, the best, the most mature relationship that it can be if you and your partner prioritize each other, or you have an extremely good understanding of each other and you're very happy and you operate in your relationship in a way where you know you're both content, you're both happy with how things are going. And obviously I started off by saying, you and your partner, your relationship, that's the priority in life. And I really do truly believe that if you're in a serious relationship. And then obviously if a family comes along, that's even more of a priority because you've got kids now. And that's a heavy responsibility that you've put on yourselves. And I'm sure it's also something that will be a beautiful thing. I came out of a divorce, and unfortunately when I separated and I was going through my divorce, we were in the lockdowns, and it just wasn't great. Imagine going through separation and you're not even able to go out and have a bit of fun and let loose a bit and just be a bit more chilled. It was during the time when we were told not to go out very much. We were basically locked at home most of the time. I would manage to go obviously on runs and things like that. And of course, I did still manage to see some friends here or there and some family, etc. I thank God that I did have some of those friends and some of my family that I was still able to see, because they helped me a lot during this time. But what is interesting is I only actually started realizing some of the insecurities that popped up inside of me due to my divorce. And they only really started manifesting themselves and coming out when I got in a new relationship. So some of those things, some of the things I'm about to talk about, they come from a real place. And I know in me that no matter how much I think I know and I think I'm in the right about everything, that's how we all are. We all think we're in the right about everything, most likely, but actually, sometimes you've got to take a step back. You've got to take some of that natural greed, ego that is inside you, and you have to really take a good look at yourself and understand that very likely most of the time, you know, it's not just the other person doing things, it's also you. And for a while I was in a bit of a victim mentality, and I did keep thinking, you know, why is this happening to me? Why suddenly am I alone? I was not, of course, alone. I had loads of people that were around me and were nice. But that's what a victim mentality is. And the number one lesson there is, get out of the victim mentality. You do your best to get out of it. It's not great. Listen, coming out of the victim mentality, you know, it's not me telling you invalidate all your feelings. No, it really isn't. Your feelings are your feelings, and you feel like that because something has happened to make you feel that way. So I'm not invalidating anything, and I don't invalidate my own feelings about how I felt. And I know how I felt many times was actually, there was no other way to feel. How could someone expect me to feel another way, or how could I not be feeling that way? But you gotta get yourself out of the victim mentality, because only then are you going to start understanding the things that you yourself could be doing to help yourself, and to help understand that it's a two-way game with relationships. My dog running, not this way, thankfully. So going back to me saying, when you're in a mature relationship, especially deep into your adulthood, your relationship is number one. If you get to a point where you've been with your partner for, like, I don't know, 6 months, a year, and you know it's good, that relationship is your priority. Because the whole point of relationships is that you are now not living life just for yourself. You're now living life with someone else. You're sharing your life together now. You're together going forward for the rest of your life. That's the whole point of partnership, of marriages, of relationships. That's how it works. And I think a lot of people struggle with that because they get into a sort of this mentality where, you know, they think, oh God, I'm gonna lose everything now. I'll have to give myself to this person completely, and is that gonna leave me with nothing for me? It's not like that. And any good partner will understand that, yes, you're priority to each other, but that doesn't mean that you can't also have your own things going on as well. You know, you can each still go out with your friends and have fun sometimes. You can go to the gym by yourselves. You can, whatever, go on a trip by yourself or with your friends. You can go see family on your own, whatever. These are only very few examples, but I'm just saying, when it comes to your relationship, your partner is number one. Do never, never allow yourself to make your partner feel that anyone else is better or more important than them. Sure, there's maybe the caveat of family, obviously our parents, siblings, sure, or maybe even our best friends, sure, understandable, you know. But once again, if you're falling into this pit where, you know, you're not realizing that you're making your partner feel like they're not as important, then they're gonna start acting weird towards you. And it might be you don't even understand that you're doing that. But, you know, it's a massively important thing to understand. And the best way you are ever going to sort of be the best at this, and in any other thing, is communication. Communication is key. I have to be extremely honest. I mean, I'm not like a big fan about what I'm about to say about myself, but in sort of my first long-term relationship, my communication skills were not great. My partner used to ask me to talk to them more. But I used to be your sort of average early 20s male that keeps you know, their troubles to themselves and they find it hard to talk and blah, blah, blah. When actually, at the time, in all honesty, my partner was someone that I could have spoken to. Communication is key. If you have a loving, caring partner there and you have seen enough to know that this is the case, you gotta open up. You have to speak to them. You have to help them understand why you are the way you are in certain areas of life. If you're not quite the same person when you're alone as you are when you're in public, there's something going on there, something to be spoken about, not something to run away from. These are all just examples, but what's important is communication is key. It is really important. Here is another really important thing: transparency. Say whatever you want. One of my biggest beliefs is that if you have a partner that you love and you care about and you're going to live the rest of your lives together, there is no way you will ever stay true to each other and build trust, which of course is a very important thing. You cannot build trust if you're not transparent with each other. Transparency is being honest. It's honesty. If you're keeping secrets from each other, and especially if one can see these kinds of things, and they can tell that there's secrets being kept from them, and they try to speak to you normally, and you keep on being someone who's very hard and stubborn, and it's not something that is going to help your relationship. And if you struggle to do this, even time after your own partner has asked you nicely, and you can talk to them deep down inside, but you just can't. You have to find a way to do it, or go have some therapy, or speak to a family member and about this struggle, and let them help you. Do what you can to become someone who is extremely transparent with your partner, because it's the only way you are ever going to have the greatest trust for each other you can. That is massively important, this point. I can't stress enough how I myself have felt, or perhaps even a past partner of mine may have felt, when I wasn't fully honest with, being open with them about how I feel about some things, or how I feel now if a partner of mine is not to be transparent with me. So there you go, that's the second point there. And then the third point is, you gotta be each other's greatest fans. You really, really do. You have to empower each other. You have to uplift each other. If there's problems, if one is down for some reason and it's not to do with you, you gotta empower your partner. You gotta help them bring themselves back up. Life is not always going to be great and amazing, right? All of us can feel lower, depressed at times because of different things. Sometimes we don't even realize it's like that. That this is really crucial. My opinion, it truly is that if you and your partner are each other's greatest fans, you just can't go wrong. Us men, we want to be respected. We want to see our partners respect us. It's a very big thing, and there are many other big things, but that's just one example for today's video. Women, my understanding is, they love to be listened to. It's very important to listen to a lady, to your partner. You've got to do these things in order to make sure that you have the best possibility to be together, and not just to be together, to be solid with each other for the rest of your life, okay? And once again, oh, and by the way, obviously, this is relevant as well to couples who perhaps are not heterosexual couples. You know, you might be a man who is with a man, you might be a woman that's with a woman, no problem. I'm sure it always seems to be perhaps one might be more dominant than the other, or equally, it might be one is a bit more talkative, the other one's a bit more silent. So these rules apply to that as well. Yeah, guys, I really believe those are three really, really big things that I've learned that are needed to have a solid relationship, right? So I really hope you enjoyed that. That is it for today's video. Make sure you talk to each other in your relationship. Make sure that you empower each other in your relationship, and make sure that no matter what stress anyone puts on you, your family, your friends, your peers, whatever, you are transparent to your partner. Transparency and honesty is the most beautiful, amazing thing. And the more you can be transparent and honest with each other, the more you will flourish, okay? And I look forward to seeing loads of flourishing couples and people in relationships around me, okay? Have a lovely day, guys, a lovely week, whatever the case might be. Have a good one. See ya.